got a lot to get into, so let's roll. Stephen A's off. The Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe's got you covered. Of course, we got the coach, Rex Ryan, and Dan Orlovsky. Guys, let's get into it. ABC. Always be closing like Kansas City. The Chiefs clinched their 9th straight AFC West Championship Sunday night. 12-1 Kansas City had yet another too close for comfort finish. Third-string kicker Matthew Wright, a replacement for 2 injured players, made a 31-yard field goal as time ran out to allow the Chiefs to beat the Los Angeles Chargers 19-17. Here's Patrick Mahomes after staying positive after another close win.
It seems like we stall out on drives on little things, and I've said that kind of all year long. But it is close. I truly believe we are closer than we were this year at this point, and it's just about finding a way to prove it on the football field on Sundays. We'll play every day of the week, it seems like, the next few days, but on game days, and then we can kind of go into the playoffs with some momentum.
That jacket's fresh right there. All right, Shay, coming to you. Will KC's close wins catch up to them? Because it is week in and week out we have the same conversation.
Yeah, guys, it seems like we've had this conversation before with Tom Brady and the Patriots. This is what we know. When you get opportunity to put points on the board against Kansas City, you better do it. Because Josh Herbert missed 2 throws, Dio and Rex. I know you remember those throws where he has walk-in touchdowns if he makes those connections. He does not. And now they get no points out of that. The last thing, it's not so much that how they're winning, is that every time they put Patrick Mahomes in a situation like this, you give him the ball and he doesn't give it back to you until his team has the lead and there's no time on the clock. Now, they've gotten lucky a couple of times. They've blocked the field goal. They've had a field goal miss. But when you put him in these situations like this, third down here, big-time catch to Xavier Worthy. Now he's going to scramble out of the pocket, jumps out of the pocket, and look at him, pick him up, put him down, coach. That's what you want from a guy like this. It's not that they keep winning like this. It's that they keep putting him in a situation like this, and he keeps coming through. Look at this, 37, dodges another guy. He finds his favorite target, Travis Kelce. He just somehow, he's the modern-day Tom Brady, because we saw Tom time and time again be placed in these situations, and he always came through. Now, boy, they say a cat got 9 lives. They got 12, because they must be 2 cats, because they seem like every game they've won on the last second into something like this. Block a field goal, doink off the upright, the guy hooks it, whatever the case may be. But will it catch up with them? You're going to have to put them in a situation, because this is what we know about Tom, and Patrick has the same trait. If he needs a field goal to beat you, he's going to get his team in position to do that. If he needs a touchdown to beat you, he's going to put his team in to do that. This was a total team effort, coach, because what they needed the defense to do last night was keep the Chargers out of the end zone, and so a field goal would beat them. Now, do I believe if Patrick Mahomes needed a touchdown, he would have went and got it? Absolutely, because we saw him down at the 8-yard line, and they didn't, and the Chargers weren't going to get the ball back. Will it catch up with them? Only if you have an offense that when they make a mistake like they made last night, you make them pay the ultimate price. But right now, no team really other than Buffalo has make them pay for mistakes that they made on defense.
You know, I've been sitting back, and for 5 straight weeks, I've been critical of this football team, and I'm like, man, there's no way they're not knocking anybody out, because they don't. And here's the thing that I look at. That's why I think they're vulnerable. And they're vulnerable to any team. And I've said that before, almost any team. Because teams you think they're going to blow out, they don't. And here's why. No. They are the least explosive offense in the National Football League. That's a crazy stat. You have one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen, and you don't have any explosives on offense.
Sure.
Now, part of that is, and Dano, you and I talked about, that's because they don't protect the quarterback. And so to me, you're still not protecting the quarterback and all that. And Shannon, I've had to stop a lot of teams as a coordinator, head coach, whatever. I'd sign up any day of the week to play against Kansas City right now. Okay, I would. But in the last 2 minutes, oh, hell no, I don't want to sign up to play that guy. No chance. And you're right. If they needed a touchdown, Shannon, they would have gone right down the field and scored a touchdown. Because that is who Patrick Mahomes is. I don't think you can keep it within a 1-score game. I think you got to be up 10 points or so like that against them. So are there teams capable of doing it? They certainly are. I think Baltimore's capable. I think the way Pittsburgh's playing, they're starting to be capable, and I definitely think Buffalo's capable. So we'll see at the end of the day. But this dude, when he gets the ball, you're right. Like, I've been on sidelines, and there goes Tom Brady. Oh, my goodness. And we all know I called timeout and all that jazz. But it's like their whole football team knows that, hey, we got Patrick Mahomes, we're going to win this game. And there's something to that, and you got a great football coach. Here's the bad thing for the whole AFC. All right? Andy Reid is almost impossible to beat when he comes off a bye week. Well, the fact they got the #1 seed and they get a bye, you know they're getting ready to go into a championship. Win that one, and now they're already in the championship game again. So I don't know. But I think they are more vulnerable this year than they've ever been.
Dan?
I don't believe it catches up to them. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet it on it catching up to them. I think yesterday we saw why this team can't three-peat and why this team will three-peat at the same time. If the Chiefs lose, and I don't think they're going to when it matters the most in the playoffs, win or go home, because more than likely you're going to have to do it in Arrowhead. If they lose, we're all going to come on the next day and we're going to say, well, they couldn't protect him when it mattered the most. Or no one got open versus man coverage, or they kicked too many field goals. They couldn't go score in the red zone. The defense got gashed with some of the internal run game, and they couldn't cover. I will foreshadow for everybody at home, if they lose in the playoffs, that will be the singular reason why. If they win in the playoffs, and again, I'm going to, so everybody knows, I will be rooting for Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl. I am unbiased about it. I want to see that team, that organization, that fan base, that quarterback get there. I'm not going to pick against Patrick at home, okay? If they get there, it is going to be because of, in many ways, what we saw yesterday. You got to stop the unstoppable. When it comes down to it, you got to go stop the quarterback who you can't.
In Philly, for a team that won Sunday, you certainly wouldn't know by their post-game press conference. The Eagles' offense struggled passing the ball, with Jalen Hurts only registering 108 through the air versus the Panthers. Here's Hurts and A.J. Brown post-game. Listen up, y'all.
The notion of trying to be on the same page, is that a conversation that should be happening in week 13 of the season?
No.
Why is that the case?
I just say no.
You said the offense wasn't good enough. What are some things you think that the offense needs to improve on passing?
All right, let's unpack it. Shay, I'm starting with you. Are you good with A.J. Brown calling out Philly's offense?
Well, no. I prefer him and Jalen getting to a room and the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and they come to an understanding. It's just tough for A.J. to get into a rhythm when he doesn't get a ball thrown his way or have a target or doesn't catch a pass until late in the second quarter. It's hard. And what you want to do is your best players, you get them the ball early. If you get a receiver the ball early, he'll let you know you got him late. And because it's so hard for him to get into a rhythm because you're only giving him one target, 2 targets in the first half of a ball game. Now, obviously, they can run the football with Saquon. He's running the air out of the football, and he's second on my ballot for the MVP. But they got to do a better job. I don't know if you can go to and win a championship and your quarterback is throwing for 118 yards a game. They got very lucky. They probably should have lost this game yesterday if Leggett holds on to that ball, and he's going to have to do a better job of holding on to the football because he's put his team in some harm's way because he had one against the Chiefs, and he had one yesterday that would have done huge numbers for the quarterback's confidence. A 98-yard drive, but he dropped that ball there. But to answer your question, Molly, no, I don't like this situation like this. I don't like guys discussing stuff publicly because now it looks like there's dissension between the two teammates, and I don't think that's the case. I just think they just need to get into a room and have an understanding. And Kellen Moore is going to have to do a better job of calling plays and getting his playmakers involved earlier.
I have absolutely no issue with this at all. I think a lot of people are making way too big a deal out of it, more than it is. They did not play well in the pass game yesterday. They were asked the question, what A.J. Brown says the offense has got to be better. Anybody with eyeballs can sit there and say, well, if the offense struggled, what part of the offense struggled yesterday? The passing game. So what is he supposed to say in that moment? Nothing? Is he supposed to ignore it? Shannon, I completely agree. His first catch was like second quarter, 126. I agree with all that. Jalen did not play well yesterday. Now, the weird thing is a lot of people are going to make it as Jalen stinks. That's not the case. Jalen's actually been pretty darn good this year. Is this pass game in Philadelphia very simple and very elementary? Absolutely. It is A.J. Brown one-on-one. I think it's the second best quarterback wide receiver doing the NFL. This is like the second or third pass of the game. He checks the ball down to Dotson. A.J. Brown is completely wide open. You actually, after the play, see J.C. Horn point to A.J. Brown and be like, oh my gosh, you're a touchdown. That play, that ball should have gone to Devontae Smith. That play should be a one-on-one go route to A.J. Brown. If A.J. Brown's one-on-one, the ball should go to him every play, or almost every play. That wasn't the case yesterday. So, of course, there's going to be frustration.
Yeah.
I agree with Shannon. You ain't winning the Super Bowl playing the way that you did yesterday. But that hasn't been the case all year. So I don't believe that we need to make this a huge ordeal.
Shannon, can I just play devil's advocate really quick? Because I feel it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. They barely beat the Panthers. So in some ways, I feel like if they came out and they were positive and and happy that they won and celebrating, we'd be crucifying them for that. So the fact that they are frustrated and they know they need to be better in a win, I feel like is a positive.
I do. I like that. You never accept anything in a win. You wouldn't in a loss. The Carolina Panthers are a better football team than they were 3-4 weeks ago. They've been in every ball game. Probably should have won the Kansas City game. Could have easily won this game yesterday. And I think the thing is, people are starting to find out is that this is a better football team than what we previously thought. With that being said, you're absolutely right. And they're going to have to do a better job of getting Jalen Hurts into a rhythm, Dan, earlier. I mean, you're asking him, look, Saquon is playing unbelievable. And it's so easy to just turn around and hand the ball, and he gets 6 yards, he gets 10 yards, and he's a threat every single time. But when you don't let your quarterback get into a rhythm, and you don't let your star receivers get into a rhythm, and then late in the ball game, go make plays in the passing game, you know how hard that is, Dio. I've been there. And I used to tell the coaches all the time, if you give it to me early, you'll have me late. But don't all of a sudden throw me a ball in the first 3 quarters and then ask me, what can I win on? I'm not sure I can win on anything because I'm not in a rhythm and the quarterback doesn't have a rhythm throwing me the football. So I think it goes hand in hand. Kellen Moore is going to have to do a better job. He like in Dallas, maybe he was too pass happy. Maybe in Philadelphia, he's too run happy. He's going to have to find a better mix to get his playmakers involved because I don't believe you can get to and win the Super Bowl without your passing game.
I think they tried. Sometimes as a quarterback, I think you just have some days when you just don't see it great. You just aren't seeing it great. And so, there's the line for Jalen Hurts, and I think this is part of yesterday. If we don't turn the football over, our defense is great, our running game is great. So maybe Jalen, who maybe just didn't feel it early on, played a little bit conservative. That's probably the right thing to do in that game. I would agree with Shannon that if you got to go beat the Detroit Lions or if you're going to play a team like the Minnesota Vikings and they're rolling, it's going to have to be a little bit more aggression. Yesterday, he just did not see the field well. Yesterday, he was not willing to be aggressive with the ball and to cut it loose. We don't have to make this A.J. Brown publicly, bad body language. No. The Eagles are going to dissent. Yeah. It's going to be the same thing as last year. Yesterday can live on its own because the pass game, again, it's been pretty successful and explosive this season.
We got
but here's the thing, though, Molly.
Yeah, real quick.
The problem is that A.J. Brown has had 3 catches. He's had 2 catches. He's had 4 catches. So he's seeing a reoccurring theme. He's saying that this is not a one-off. This isn't an isolated incident. What we're starting to see is a reoccurring theme, and that's a problem for me.